But this is dogwood. You can see they grow pretty straight. Now see, that's already nice and snug. We've made a bow, so it's only right that we do make an arrow to go with our bow. And we have a complete banero, as a friend of mine told me it's called. We're going to make our shaft for the arrow out of dogwood. All right, so here we are out in the great woods, and we're looking for arrow wood, which in this case is going to be dogwood. There is a plant called arrowwood, but I burn them. But this is dogwood, and it's got a pretty simple shaped leaf. Telltales, or your identification of it, is these beautiful veining in the leaf. And if I hold it against the light like that, they should show up really nice on the film. That is classic dogwood leaf. They grow pretty straight. So what we're going to do here is strip this down. I'm going to scrape the bark off because it's just about falling off. You can, but that's just the outer layer of bark. There's an inner, like, cambium layer that I want to get off. I don't want to cut into the wood, so I'm going to use the knife on it straight up and down to scrape. And kind of see it lightening up. So here we are. We've got the shaft all scraped down, real pretty like, still a little crooked. You can kind of sight down it and see, but you can get careful. You can take a lot of that crooked out. This isn't severely crooked. If it was severely crooked, we'd get a fire under it and make it heat it up, you know, and bend it. But this will straighten out pretty good. A friend of mine who went to, I think it's the Fields Museum in Chicago, they have a bunch of arrows on display, and he says you can see the tooth marks in the arrows from people kind of bending them before they shoot them, type of thing. Now, as a kid, whenever I made a spear or any kind of projectile out of a stick, I'd generally throw the fat end first. Being heavy, it would go like it had a point on it, type of thing. But a lot of the native people, when they were making arrows, said that the shaft grows this way, so the arrow should go this way. So they put the point on the smaller end. But what that does is gives you a little thicker end for the nock, and they would carve a little bit of this away from the nock end, leaving a bulbous end here, which gave you something to hang on to as you were shooting it. Not to mention strengthen the nock from, you know, the pressure from the string and all. Because if you're shooting this thing off of your hand, holding the bow, you don't want any splinters. They're no fun. So that's respectably straight.
Is there an optimal length for an arrow? Did you measure it in any way, or is it just?
In this particular case, the stick it's all I got for a stick. So, but that's just about, I can trim this end down. That's full draw for me, and you want it out a little bit beyond, so it's really about perfect to start with. It depends on the individual draw length. Some of those bows, the horseback bows and stuff, they weren't pulling them back more than that, so they could use a shorter arrow. I'm going to go ahead and carve a nock in the end here. Let's do it with the bulbous end like we were talking. All right, so that was started. I'm going to go from the other side now and try to meet it in the middle. I made it through. Our ancestors probably didn't have little rat tail files, but I do. So what I've managed to do, and where the string is ultimately going to be, is bigger than where it goes in. So it should clip onto my string. And then, what good's an arrow without a point? Well, these three obviously came from the same stone. The key to these things is a spherical end, or semi, you know. That's what you want to strike the flint with. Yeah, let's see what we can do with this stuff.